Hi everyone, I'm Ben Booker Suleiman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of NerasVenture, and in this video I'll be sharing the exact same model that has been working for us and for our clients. As you can see from the diagram that I'm sharing, there's multiple components into our system, but the first element is delay. If you haven't heard about delay, we can call it a data aggregator. It allows us to do what we would be able to do with a team of 10 to 20 people for one client, but instead for multiple clients. And one simple way of thinking about delay is that you can think of it as a Google Sheet with multiple API connectors, and with every single data point that or source that you're currently using or that you wish you could be using in one centralized location. So that's kind of a general look into what Clay is, and it's a centerpiece of this workflow, and it's where we manage everything. Now, before I go into what we do with Clay or what we use Clay for, and all the details that goes behind it, I will cover the other elements first. So the first element in the left we have is competitors and intent audiences. These are pre-qualified audiences. So in an ideal world, you would know exactly who's interested in your services or product, who's considering them, and one great way of finding that out is by looking at your competitors, who's interacting with your competitors, who's your competitors are engaging with that as well, and there is a couple multiple there is multiple great ways to track that. So one of them is tracking competitors' followers. The other one is SDR and account executive connections of your competitors. There's also event attendees, but it's worth to mention that it could be people who are following a certain type of content on LinkedIn, but not necessarily your competitors, as long as they are showing a certain type of interest that we're looking for. Another type of audience we have is influencer audience. These are your typical influencers within your industry and niche. The sweet spot is, I would say, is between 10 to 100,000 followers. And the way we build a list of prospects out of that is that we first will build a list of the influencers within maybe 10 to 20 influencers within your niche, and then we will grab everyone who's interacting with these influencers and their posts. Once we grab them, then we would qualify them based on your ICP, and we find that it's best to not mention that we've already seen someone interacting with this person or that person, but rather use them as a knowledge or as an indicator that first indicates they fit within your target market, and then second they've showed an interest that you're looking for. Another type of data we have, or audiences, is intent data, which is your regular data from Apollo, Sixth and Bambora also. Now, once we have figured out these audiences that we're going to be using, we work on moving as many as possible into streaming audiences. Streaming audiences are basically self-updating audiences that run in the background. And one interesting type of audience is website visitors. We can. This is basically um, the the anonymous website visitors. Now we're able to track them with tools such as RB2B and Factors.ai. Another key component is lookalike audiences. This is where we clown your top 3 to 10 best clients, and we can do that using tools like Ocean.io, Clay, and even SalesNav. But it's also worth to mention that we could be implementing this one once in a quarter, depending on the size of your target market. Now that I've given you a look into what the other components are, we can go back into Clay, which is the centerpiece of this workflow. So we use Clay to score your total addressable market. What I mean by that is that we would start looking for certain traits and certain triggers. We will first start looking for certain traits. Certain traits are these are ideally things that your competitors cannot look for unless they are doing it manually or they are using the exact same method. And ideally, these are really, really specific things. We want to narrow things down as much as possible so that we're only reaching out to the accounts within your target market that have the biggest signal or signals indicating that they are in need of your products or services. An example of traits we could be looking for is are they using Salesforce? Do they have a targeting a marketing team that doesn't have a dedicated design person? Um, do they have certain compliance? Do they have certain integrations? And the main idea behind traits is that to answer the question of whether we should be reaching out to these prospects, or and also whether they are a tier one account or a tier two account. Once we have the traits that we're looking for, we start looking for certain triggers. Are they any recent hires? Are they growing, downsizing the technologies they are using? Are they using a competitor tool? Do they have a center integration that you integrate with? Um, have they recently raised funding? Do they have uh, new locations? And there is a lot of different of triggers that we could be looking for. And the best part is the more specific you are, or if you are really, really specific here, the more specific you are here, the more unique your messaging can be. And if you had to send one message to one person and you've had an entire afternoon to research them, you would probably know exactly what to say. And we believe that you don't have a messaging problem or a copywriting problem, but you have a data problem. And the whole point. I mean, you've already heard this one before. I'm sure you've heard this one before. Your list practically writes the messaging by itself, and the whole point of our model is to be able to scale unique messaging into each prospect on a list of prospects, on lists of hundreds and thousands of prospects, using the data we've tracked, or we were able to collect about these prospects. I've tried to compress as much information as possible into this video, but there is a lot more of details that goes into it. And if you are interested, you can book a meeting with us to have a conversation with us. And yeah, I hope the video was insightful. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.